So that was just a glassal jig and an unidentified reel because I don't have the time to look it up. It's by Saltfish 40. It's a kind of Scottish, kind of Scottish, there's some Irish guys in there, band that plays traditional music. Anyways, so I'm just going to explain to you some of the things that I did in that performance that kind of sucked because I wasn't warmed up. But some of the rudiments of the Bodhran that I use. Okay, so this shouldn't really be a rudiment. This is just part of the Bodhran playing. But moving your hand, doing different things, taking it off, putting it on pressure, different shapes, all do different things to the sound. So when you heard like that's because my hand's moving up and down as I play. And then to accentuate it more as you adjust your pressure. So when you're down here, you're very loose, and then when you get up to the top, you're pressing into the head. So you get okay. So that's kind of one of the things you can do, and there's infinite numbers of ways you can combine the tipper hitting the drum and your hand, because you can move it anywhere on the drum. It depends. Like I can keep my hand up here and hit between those two fingers, and then I can hit, and you have like the bass. So, or if I move it down a little bit, and then there's really muting, and there's just letting go. It's generally more muted than loose because you want to be more quiet, and this is more quiet than so excuse me. The other thing that we do is there's things called triplets, which I've already explained in one of the following videos. It's just it shouldn't sound like a galloping horse as much, but I'm still a beginner, etc. It's just supposed to be smooth triplets. You can also do a hair tub, but you guys don't know what that is. It's just, I'll explain that some other time. That's like more intimate music stuff. Anyways, all of the stuff that I played before was improvisation, and so what happened is I'd throw in random triplets because I was getting bored. So, and then like doing different accent patterns. And then with that hand movement, and so you get an interesting type of beat. And since it's all improvisation, it changed a lot as it went along, because I forgot what I played before, and I'm like, oh, let's go and try this, and try that, and try this. And so when you're actually performing with real people, you probably keep it more consistent most of the time, just to make sure that you're quieter and you don't screw up, because you're in front of other people. And they rely on you to actually play well, whereas I'm playing with a recording, so I do whatever I want, as long as it's in tempo, and time, and rhythm, and the correct signature, whatever, all that fun stuff. So the other cool thing about this is that there's no actual written notation at all, ever. There's different types that you can actually look at, but that's only for bare bones. Like, here's like a kind of cool rhythm, but I can't do hands with it. Like your hand, there's no way you can notate your hand. There's absolutely no way. Because as you're playing, you can like jump back and forth, you can slowly move up, you can do all sorts of fun stuff. And you can actually use it to, and you can play like that with your fingers or your hand, and those beat of the stick. But I'm not really good enough to do that. But you can't really notate it. That's like futile. Let's see. Then, so the other thing, so I just explained triplets, I explained moving the hand. There's the accent patterns, which are, again, downstroke, upstroke, and any number of patterns. So there's the accent, and then there's the taps. So accent, and then accent. And you can do both. And normally your upstroke is weaker than your downstroke, because when do you do this motion? Never. It doesn't happen. It's not natural. So it takes a little bit of getting used to. Whereas it's very useful because you can like hit something, or I don't know. It just The rotation's more natural down because you're also not fighting gravity as you're coming up, and you don't have that weird rotating up motion. And then Doris triplets. What else do we have? You can pretty much duplicate anything that you can play on a normal drum here, but you only have one hand, so there's a limit to like you can't play it that fast. So one of the things that you can do that a lot of people actually do are paradiddles, which are right, left, right on normal hands. So you'd be playing and then left, right, left, left. On a bodhran, right is downstroke, left is upstroke, or the other way around, and so you can play. On bodhran, and that helps you switch hands. So like, because you can only start a triplet on your downstroke, you cannot do it. It doesn't work on downstroke because you're where are you gonna? Yeah, it doesn't really. It's really weird. You can't do it. So what you have to do is you have to do it on a downstroke. And so the only way to get to a downstroke on a beat that should be an upstroke is to play a paradiddle or a double right or not play for a second. So like you can stop and then play, or you can do. And then, so that would normally be a left, but it was a right, so it can be a triplet. That's a little bit more in-depth than you need to know. Part of it, let's see, and then you can also just do doubles. So, or this is the one that I'm working on. That's just two strokes in the same hand, then an upstroke. So it's if you're thinking of rudiments on an actual drum, it'd be a Padida, I think. So it's really useful for playing triplets. That's really hard to do in a reel because it doesn't really make as much sense because it's in 4 instead of 3, and these are groups of 3. So what else? I think that's pretty much it. There isn't a whole lot else you can do with carry style because again, you're very limited with one hand, and then your other hand's here. I'm not going to debate the merits of playing like that, but that's the way that I'm learning. The other way is top end, which I've already said I don't have the right tipper for because this is really thick, really not top end like tipper. And with top end, you don't have that upper end because you're on the top, and you're playing and you're moving it between fingers. I think I'm still learning. That's what I'm planning to do in my interviews, kind of get an idea of what that is. And so you'd wiggle it and. And you play it like that. And what you can do is you can like double the speed and do a triplet. So I can't do it again, but that's kind of the idea behind top end. And I need to get another tipper for that. Then the other thing that I did, and I did it really sparingly. Normally in a jig, you kind of do the normal. And then the other one that a lot of people do is with rim shots. Rim shots are hit this to the rim and hooray, it makes a nice wood sound. But so it would be more like it's really hard, especially unless you're holding it out like this. I know Kevin Kneff, the guy who does Bodhran for the Chieftains, plays like this. And I'm not really sure. I think he looks really, his grip is weird, but it's like a loose carry style. Anyways, then you can hit on the back of the drum. Do a one shot there or down, whatever. More down. So I'm not really used to playing like that. And then, whereas when you have the drum in like here, you kind of can only do up because down. It's really, really awkward to reach all the way up here and do a downstroke here because when you downstroke, you get it stuck on the top, as opposed to this one that's just bouncing off when you come up. It's the angle of your hand when you come down, sideways as opposed to parallel. So, sorry, it's perpendicular. So this is going up, this is down, as opposed to parallel when this one comes up, which is just that way. So you never actually get the straight back up, except for here. And that's after you've already hit the head or the rim. Otherwise, that's kind of like an explanation of all the rudiments that I can really think of right now. I'll learn more as I go along, and that I'll probably post more videos of me just playing to music and explaining some of the more interesting points that I've learned in sessions and in my interview and all that fun stuff. Okay, so this is the Bodhran, and this is my project. Yay.